Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really sweet bluebell bag using solid granny squares. Okay, so for this project I'm going to be using this purple yarn. This is from Hobbycraft, I think it's the Women's Institute one. I'm not sure exactly what colour this is, but if you're interested in making the cream bluebell bag that I made, this is the yarn I use for that. This Mariner chunky yarn. I'm pretty sure this is discontinued, but any cream chunky yarn will work for this project. If you're using a chunky yarn, then I recommend using a 4mm hook, or you could go bigger if you wanted to. But the reason I like the 4mm hook with the chunky yarn is because it creates this really dense stitching, and it's really neat, and it makes it much more solid. You'll also need brown, green and lilac yarn, but you could swap out the lilac for any colour that you wanted your flower to be. I just like this lilac, and it has these sparkles in it, which is really nice. So yeah, the main colour for today I'm making is this purple. I'm going to do lilac, bluebells and a green stem, and then for the little bow, just some brown yarn. You'll also need some scissors, and you'll also need a tapestry needle. I forgot to mention as well that I'm going to be using a 3.5mm hook today for this yarn, because this is slightly thinner than, well, definitely much thinner than my chunky yarn. So I'm going to be sizing down a hook for this yarn, but with this yarn I use the 4mm hook, if you were wondering. Okay, so to start we're going to make 8 solid granny squares for the main part of the bag. So you want to grab your main colour and make a slip knot like that, and you're going to want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. You're then going to slip stitch into the 4th chain. Creates a little ring, and then you want to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to make 3 double crochet stitches into the ring. One, 2, 3. Chain 2 and repeat again, 3 double crochet stitches. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 2 again, and again 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, and for the last cluster that we're going to make, we're only going to do 2 double crochet stitches, because we already have our last one in this chain 5. So 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. And to make it a cluster of 3, we're going to slip stitch and finish the round with a slip stitch in the 3rd chain. 1, 2, 3. Wait, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Can be a bit fiddly. Slip stitch, and then that is your cluster of round 1 done. So you should have 4 clusters of double crochet, 3 double crochet. And now we're going to start round 2. So you're going to chain 3, and you're going to make 2 double crochet into this chain space, chain 2 and 2 more double crochet. So 1, 2, chain 2 and another 2 double crochet. 1, and 2, and that creates a new corner. Then once you reach your cluster, you're just going to make 1 double crochet in each. 1, 2, 3. You're then going to repeat that same corner space with 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And you'll notice that you've reached another cluster, so it's the same process, a double crochet stitch in each, and then you'll do that same corner space method again. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and you're going to repeat that all the way around until you reach the end, and then I'll show you what to do. So I've now reached the end of the round. So to finish the round, you're just going to want to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's this stitch right here. And that is your row 2 done. So pretty much the rest of the granny square is the same process. It's just the beginning of every round you chain 3, and then you want to, depending on where you're at in the area of the square, you might have to make a double crochet and then do your corner space and then double crochet and corner space. So it just depends where you are. So if I'm starting round 3, as you can see, I've got a few double crochets here, so I'll be making some double crochets before I do the corner space. So it just depends on where you are, but it's the same process as before. You chain 3 at the beginning of every round. You either make your double crochet or you do your corner space. So here I'm doing the double crochet just in these little clusters, and then I've reached my corner space, so I'll be doing 2 double crochet, chain 2, and then 2 double crochet. And then as you can see here, I've got a load of double crochets, so I'll do 1 in each. And then I've reached my corner space again, so I would just do the same thing, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And you can just repeat this process as many times as you would like. So once you reach the end of your round, you will slip stitch back into the top of chain 3 and then repeat the process all over again. And as you can see, you're getting this nice diagonal like line of spaces. So for the granny squares that I did 1, 2, 3, 4 rows with the chunky yarn. However, because this yarn is slightly thinner, I might need to do maybe 5 or 6 rows depending on how big it gets. But if you want to know, then these squares will need to be about 5 inches by about 4.85 inches, 5 by 5 we'll just say. So however many rows it takes for you to get a 5 by 5 inch square, I'll let you know how many rows that I end up doing, but it'll probably be at least 5 rows, if not 6. And yeah, so it's the same process as before, so I will meet you back when I have done however many rows I need to make it the same size as this square. Okay, so I've just finished my first granny square. I ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, which I wasn't expecting. I thought that I would have to do more rows because this was a thinner yarn, but somehow 5 rows has managed to fill the space exactly. So yeah, 5 rows I did. And once you finish your granny square, again I've just slip stitched into that top of the chain 3. I'm just going to fasten off, so I just chain 1 and then cut. I really need to get some new scissors. So yeah, you're just going to want to make 8 of these. So I'm going to come back when I've made all 8 of my squares. Okay, so I've just finished 8 of the granny squares, so now I'm going to show you how you can join them together. So each side will have 4 squares joined together. So I'm going to join mine first vertically, and then once all 4 have been joined vertically, I will then join them horizontally. So basically you want all your granny squares to be facing the right way up. So it's the way that you crocheted them, you want that side to be facing up. So that's right, that's facing up. And now I'm going to, because I am crocheting from left to right, I'm flipping the left ones over, so now I have the wrong side like that. Okay, so the wrong side is now on top. So we will be crocheting down this seam, and then we'll be joining this one together, and then vertically all 4 will be joined. So to ensure that everything is facing in the same way, in the same direction, it's all the same, I'm making sure that all of my tails are facing at the top of each square. So when you fold them over, they should be at the top. Okay, and we are going to be crocheting vertically. So I'm going to be starting in this corner here. So I'm going to turn the square, so the tails should now be on the right. And I'm going to start in the 2 chain space here. I'm going into the back loop of that first chain of the 2 chains. So I'm going to insert my hook here, and then I'm doing the exact same thing to the back square, the back loop of the first chain. It's the exact same. You're going to take your yarn with a slip knot, and you're just going to bring the loop through both loops like that, and then you're just going to chain 1, and that is going to be the start of the attachment. So you're then going to go into each of the back loops of each thing. So the next stitch will be in the back loop of the second chain, and again back loop of the second chain here, slip stitch. And we're going to slip stitch in each stitch to attach them. So again, back loop of the next stitch and back loop of the next, slip stitch, and you're just going to continue this all the way along. Okay, so I've just finished this side. Now I'm going to attach these 2 squares. So same process, I'm grabbing that first square and I'm going into the back loop of that first chain and into the back loop of this first chain, and then I'm grabbing the yarn tail and I'm just going to slip stitch those together like so. So you have a little attachment there, and then it's the same process, slip stitching into the back loop of both squares and then slip stitching into the back loop of these 2 chains here. So I will come back when I have finished doing this side. So I've just finished the last side of attaching it vertically. So now when you finish, it should form a square. So I'm just going to fasten off here with the chain 1. And I'm going to work the exact same process for the horizontal attachment. So now I'm going to fold the top down this way, and I'm going to attach the exact same method, back loop of the first chain, back loop of that first chain, back loop of the second chain, back loop of the second chain, and then in the back loop of all the double crochets. And I will show you what to do when you get to this middle part, but yeah, you just want to work the same process as before. So I've just reached the middle, and as you can see here, we are going to be attaching across, but we kind of have this little part in the middle that's in the way. So to crochet over that, you just need to find that V, this one here, and you're just going to want to go under those loops in that V and slip stitch. Be a bit fiddly, but there we go. And then I'm just going to crochet along here as normal, and then I will show you what to do afterwards. So this is what the final result looks like for the first panel, and you're just going to want to do the exact same process with your other 4 squares, and then I'm going to show you how you can neaten these edges, and then how we attach both panels together. So as you can see, I've finished both panels now. So I'm now going to neaten the edges by doing a row of single crochet around the edge. So I just got my slip knot here, and I'm going to start my single crochet like row right here in the middle of the top, so where we attached right here. To attach the slip knot and chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet into the same space, and then I'm going to single crochet into each stitch all the way around, and I'm going to weave in my ends as well. Obviously the ends that are in the middle, I'm just going to have to tuck those away because you can't crochet them in. So I'm just doing single crochet all the way around. Once you reach a spot where there's like a tail, you can just crochet in that spot. It can be a bit tight, but very tight. Single crochet all the way to the end, and then when you get to the corner, you're going to do something different. So I've now reached the corner, and because you still want to keep a square kind of shape at each corner, you want to keep that point, I'm going to make 2 single crochets in this chain 2 space, and then just keep crocheting around. So that's pretty much it. All you need to do is make a single crochet all the way around. Once you get to the middle of where the kind of seams meet, you want to make 1 single crochet in the middle here, crochet, single crochet in each double crochet stitch, and then once you reach a corner, make 2 single crochets, and then I will meet you back once I have gotten round to the end here. So I've just finished my last single crochet right here, and this is where we began, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made, and then I'm just going to fasten off. So I'm going to repeat this on the other panel, and then I'm going to show you how we are going to attach both panels together. So I've just finished the single crochet around both panels, and now we're going to attach them. So you want your wrong side to be facing upwards, so I'm going to join them like this so that the wrong side is facing up, and I've got my slip knot, and same as before in the back loop of the top. I'm starting in the top right corner, and I'm going to be working down, across, and then back up. I'm going to leave this part open because obviously that's the top of our bag. So I'm going to be going into the back loop of the first single crochet in that corner. So that's this one here. And the back loop of the first single crochet in this corner, which is here. I'm going to attach the yarn here, chain one, and then same method as before. I'm just going into the back loop of each stitch and making a slip stitch. So I will meet you back when I have finished the slip stitching all the way around, and we will stop here, and then you're just going to fasten off. Okay, so I've just finished slip stitching around the bag, and then I just fastened off at the end, and now we're going to move on to making the bag strap. So if you're using chunky yarn, then I suggest that you make a chain of 8 to start the bag strap, because your yarn's going to be thicker and it's going to build more width. If you're using a thinner yarn like this, I recommend that you chain 10. So that's what I'm going to do for this strap. I'm going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're then going to make 1 half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. And then 1 half double crochet into the rest of each chain. So that is the first row finished. You should have 9 stitches. So once you reach the end of your row, you're then going to be working in double crochet stitches for the rest of the bag strap. So I'm going to now chain 2 and turn the work, and then I'm going to make 1 double crochet stitch into each of the rest of the stitches, and I'm also going to weave in this tail as I go along, so I'm just going to include it in the double crochet. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue this process of chaining 2, turning the work, and then making 1 double crochet into each stitch. So I've just finished the bag strap, 45 inches I crocheted 2, and now I'm just going to fasten off. So I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to get quite a lot of make a quite long tail. I'm just going to pull the tail through. Okay, so I'm now going to grab my tapestry needle and attach the tail to it, and then I'm going to place make sure that the strap is the right side up. So this would be the wrong side, this is the right side where I've just finished here, and I'm going to position it where I want the strap to go. So I want the strap to sit right here in this middle part. So as you can see, I ended up having 9 stitches on this strap, so I want to have 4 stitches of the strap on this side, 1 in the middle, and then 4 on this side. So I'm going to sew the first 4 in the last 4 stitches before the middle here, and then sew 1 stitch here, and then repeat that on the other side. So I'm just taking my needle and I'm going to count back 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start here. I'm just going to feed this through. And to make sure it's secure, I'm going to feed through the first stitch a few times in that same spot, just to make sure it's secure. And now I'm going to go into each stitch, so now I'm going into the second one, just feeding it through. I'm going to do each one a couple of times. Okay, I'm just going to repeat this now in the third stitch. And then once more. And in the fourth. And once more. So now I've reached the middle section, so I'm going to go into my 5th stitch. I'm going to take it right in the center area here, pull through. And repeat. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to repeat the exact same thing again for the last 4 stitches. And then I will come back when I finish that and we'll fasten off. Okay, so I've now just flipped to the inside of the bag strap, and as you can see here, I've just finished the last stitch. So now I'm going on the inside, and I'm just going to create a nice knot to make sure that it's secure. So I'm just going into a few loops here and pulling through and leaving a loop, and then I'm just going back through that loop and pulling tight to make a knot. And I'm going to repeat that in the same spot just to make sure it's secure. And then I'm just going to weave into a few areas and a few directions to make sure that it's definitely secure. So I've still got some yarn left, so I'm going to knot the end and I'm going to sew the other side of the bag now using what I've got left. So obviously this time it's a bit different because it's not attached to the bag strap, so you're going to have to do that, but it's the same process as before, but this time you'll be going into these loops rather than an actual stitch. You'll just be going into each of these loops. So I've now completed sewing the bag strap to the bag. So I'm going to put the bag aside now and I'm going to show you how to make the bluebells. So I'm going to start with my lilac colour that I want to use for the main part of the bluebell. So I'm just going to make a double magic ring. Now I want to make 5 single crochet stitches into the magic ring. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to close the magic ring. Now I'm going to make 2 single crochet into each stitch around, which will leave you with 10 single crochet. Three, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to place a stitch marker here now, and we're now going to do 3 rounds of single crochet, just 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, so I've now finished the 3rd round. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and here's where we're going to make the petals. So for each petal we're going to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to slip stitch into the 2nd chain from the hook, single crochet into the next chain, and half double crochet into the last chain. I'm then going to slip stitch into the next stitch. I'm now going to make another chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the same process again. Slip stitch, single crochet, and half double crochet. We're then going to slip stitch into the 2nd stitch away, so 1, 2. Repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, single crochet, and half double, and then slip stitch into the 2nd stitch away, so this one here, 1, 2. Repeat again, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, single crochet, half double, slip stitch into that 2nd stitch away. And the last one we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, single crochet, half double, and for the last petal we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd stitch away, so this one right here. Okay, and then we're just going to chain 1 and fasten off. That is the first part of the bluebell all done. You're also going to make a 2nd one of these, and then I will come back and show you how to do the stem. So here are my 2 bluebells. I'm just going to sew in these ends on the inside. So I've just finished both of my bluebells, and now we're going to start on the stem. So I've just got a slip knot ready with my green yarn and one of the bluebells ready, and I'm just going to insert my hook into the top of the bluebell like this and attach the slip knot and pull through like that. Now I'm going to make a chain of 16. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. I'm going to take my other bluebell and repeat, insert the hook into the top, and I'm going to slip stitch that in like so. I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off. And I'm going to now bring these little tails into the inside of the bluebell. So I'm just going to take my hook and wrap the yarn around and then pull down into the bluebell like that, and same with the other one. Okay, and then I'm just going to weave the ends into a few areas to make sure that it's secure. And I'm going to repeat that on the other bluebell. So another optional feature that you can add to your bluebells is to take a small piece of yellow yarn or white yarn, something that's going to contrast with the purple, but I like yellow. So this is like a pale yellow yarn. I just cut a short piece, and this is with the bluebell on the inside out. I'm just going to pull that yarn through, and I'm going to make a double knot with this, and this is going to create I'm not actually sure what they're called, but there's little leaves that kind of come out of the bluebell. Okay, so I've double knotted it, and now I'm going to fold it inside out, sorry, right side in, whatever. As you can see, you've got these little bits that are coming out, and then you can just trim them to your desired length. I just like the subtle kind of detail that they give, so that's why I cut them quite short, because it's just hidden, but it's there. And I'm going to repeat this on the other one. So for the last step of the bag, you're going to attach the bluebells to your bag. So now you want to take your brown yarn and cut some of that, and you're just going to attach the brown yarn into the middle of this green stem, so about here. I'm going to attach it. Okay, like that. And then, not sure which side I'm going to put it on. I think I'm going to put it on this side. I'm going to put attach the bluebells to this sort of corner area here. I'm going to wrap it around and kind of just tie a little knot there so that it's secure, like that. And then I'm just going to feed that brown yarn through. And then I'm just going to tie a bow like that. Just shape it how you'd like it. I like my bow to be a little bit shorter, like that. Okay, and I'm just going to cut the ends because I don't want it really to be that long. I just want it to kind of be a feature. So now I'm just going to weave in all my ends, like here with a hook, and then I will show you the final result. And that is the bluebell bag all finished. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have any ideas of what you'd like me to make next, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.